Good morning, or after, yes, good morning still. Or, you know what, hello. I shouldn't time these videos. Um, I, I would like to talk about the president, the presidents, uh, the leaders, these men that we put on these pedestals like they're great at something, like they're valid or has deserve the status that we give them. Um, I'm going to challenge that because I just don't see it. I see like there's this big hype that because the president got gray hair, that that job must be hard. Look at Barack, his hair changed. Look at George Bush, their hair changed. They must be stressed. All right, let's look at it like this. How hard is being president really? Because I'm just suspect of the whole thing. And let's start with Ronald Reagan, because that's like the first president I remember. And for some reason, this dude still gets love. Like, people talk about Ronald Reagan is the poster boy for the Republicans and the conservatives. But my thing is with Ronald Reagan, isn't this the guy who initiated Iran-Contra while he was there declaring drug wars? He's engaging in drug dealing while he's engaging in drug wars. What else did he do? The savings and loan scandal. He's the first guy that said, "Hey, let's use your deposits from your savings accounts and allow the banks to be able to gamble with that money." Ronald Reagan opened up casino capitalism, what we called the free market today. Nothing free about it. It was the deregulation of Wall Street. Ronald Reagan, that is what he's really loved for. I know you poor actually think that he was on your side. I don't know how, because you were still living in trailers. Did Ronald Reagan get you a Benz? Did Ronald Reagan get you big houses? Did Ronald Reagan lift you out of poverty? No. But yet, Ronald Reagan. Like, get over yourselves. What's wrong with you? Are you human? Do you got one of these? Ronald Reagan took over as president. And this dude, him and Nancy Reagan, were sticklers for astrology. Sticklers for astrology. Ronald Reagan wasn't a Christian or believed in, what, was it Billy Graham that was talking up for this man? Who was talking up for Ronald Reagan? One of these preachers was like his boy. It might have been Falwell. Is it Falwell? Either Pat Robinson, Falwell, Billy Graham, Oral Roberts. One of those need to be next to Caesar preachers. That's what I'm going to start calling them. Caesar's preachers. Julius Caesar's preachers. Rome's Caesar's preachers. One of those type of preachers was there always hanging with this man while he was a stickler for astrology. You can look that up too. Him and Nancy loved astrology. That's what they lived their life based on. And this guy was making decisions in the presidency, but said that astrology never came into play. Yes, I still I still engage in astrology, but don't worry, it never has any bearing on my decisions. And we just took his word for it. Oh, your word's good enough, Ronald. We know that you're an actor, the profession of lying, but we're going to take everything you say at your word. Pretty smart population we got here. Another thing. Ronald Reagan was like senile. That's like reports of that everywhere. Ronald Reagan was senile. I don't even know how this dude was allowed to run the country. He was senile. He died of Alzheimer's. That took effect way before he died. That was like in his presidency that started showing up. That's the first thing about how hard is the presidential job. That a senile astrologist practitioner was the president. Seems pretty hard so far. Seems difficult, doesn't it? The next president I'll go to is George Bush. Not W, but Herbert Walker Bush, the taller one, the father. Ex-CIA director, the man who put Saddam Hussein in power, helped put Gaddafi in power. You know what I mean? Like this guy, Mr. Read My Lips. No new Texas. Was it Dana Carvey? He used to do an awesome Bush. He used to do an awesome senior Bush. You know what? He just sucked as a president, and so badly that Bill Clinton ended up beating him, and so he only got one term. So I really can't. I'm not gonna go on him too much because he only had one term. It's very limited information to judge him on. So we'll skip him as an example for this one. My next president is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was so busy running the country that he had time to get multiple times to get ahead in the office, in the Oval Office, while he's doing work. You know what I mean? Multiple times. You know, and that's the chick that told on him. I mean, are we to believe that there's no other chick? Because we know what he was like as a governor, don't we? He didn't just have one side piece. He had like, how many side pieces did he have as governor? How many women came out and said, I'm Bill Clinton's side piece? And they all were like, ugh. Ugh. They all look like the chick Arnold Schwarzenegger cheated with his maid. I'm like, hold on, what's the point of being president or being rich if you're messing with chicks that uglier than poor dudes are messing with? Like, I'm lost to that. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, that's how busy Bill Clinton had his hand. Bill Clinton had his hands full with work. Just a different kind of work. A different kind of job. The next one, oh yeah, and he had plenty of time to play saxophones and be on late night talk shows all the time. The next president is George Bush W. The son. The most vacationing president of all our presidents in recent years. Most vacationing. Now, this is the president of September 11th. This is the president of the dawn of terrorism. Yet he found time to vacation all the time. You know what I mean? That doesn't strike anyone weird that no one ever thought to themselves, hey, how hard can the president be, his job actually really be if he's taking so many vacations? And the previous one had so much time to get all that ahead in the Oval Office. The next president that worked really hard was Barack Obama. Barack Obama, the hard worker he was, had so much time on his hands. He knew about every sporting event, the details of the players. He knew about entertainment events like the Oscars and all that. He would make comments on anything. He would fill out a bracket. I don't think there was 1 year in his 8 years that he didn't fill out a bracket for March Madness. Not 1 year did he not fill out a bracket for March Madness. Like, he was the ESPN president. Always playing ball. Took a lot of vacations too. Always on night talk shows. Man, Barack worked hard. He really showed us how difficult a job the presidency really is to be the president. It's a real hard job. They're working hard to be as a president. Our next hard worker, our current president. And in my mind, just as hard a worker. To make sure I'm not being biased here, and being like looking at things through a liberal lens or through a democratic lens. No, I think both parties are fraud. I think both parties are fraud. They're both working in cooperation. They're both in cahoots to protect each other. And they're both working against the general public. Because that's how we set up the government. The people are absent from the branches of government. You notice that? They are demarcated, separated, distincted, discerned, differentiated from the people. There's the government and then there's the people. So the government is always functioning for its interests. The people, their priority is way less. The only time they make you feel important is here, you get to vote. Which 48% of us in the last election realized it makes no difference. And from Trump's actions so far, I'd say they were right. Every president has lied to us about what they're going to do. And they get in the office and do it. Even Trump. I know you want to say, oh, he was going to do a Muslim ban. Who creates the refugees in the first place? We want to talk about these refugees, but who creates them in the first place? Aren't we the ones over there bombing these people's places? Aren't we the ones over there setting up these puppet governments that tyrannize those people over there for nothing? Just because they're on land that's got oil under it. But anyway, I don't even want to talk about how sadistic, tyrannical, and unethical, immoral you high-minded, going around nose up in the air, whatever the heck you think you are. You're evil. There's no other word for it. Put two and two together, you're evil. You can actually call these people terrorists when you know what we've done to these people. That's like if the Native Americans started defending themselves. Oh, they're terrorists. Colin Kaepernick says something against, and he said the truth. That's what it is, man. He said the truth. And because you couldn't stand it, you hypocrites. Make sure you're getting me right on that. You hypocrites. I will battle you anywhere, anytime, if you want to really, really put your brain against mine. Because you know you don't want it. I don't care what race you are. That's a challenge. Clowns. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, back to Donald J. The man who we hear spends 6 hours of TV a day, watching TV a day to see how his ratings are doing. The man who we know does it must do this because he's sent out tweets and held press conferences quoting things from Alex Jones and from Fox News. So we know he watches TV all the time. The next thing about Donald J. and why I think the whole terrorist thing's a scam. He read no terrorist reports. That was a big thing amongst the whole intelligence community. He read none of the reports. He would brush them aside. This is the man who said, oh, I want to build a wall. I want to get rid of all these terrorists, all of this and all of that. But yet he wouldn't read anything about them and how to stop them. Makes me wonder if there's really terrorists. Makes me wonder how difficult is this thing? Oh, by the way, 28 of his first 100 days have been spent doing what? Tiger Woods, y'all. Tiger Woods, y'all. Tiger Woods, y'all. He's always golfing. Dude is always golfing. Maybe that's the time he likes being around balls. Maybe that's the time he feels he has balls. Must be the reason why he likes to be around golf balls so much. The country is 40th in mathematics and science. We're not smart. The moment you'll assume intelligence, you'll begin your way to intelligence once you admit that. We're not smart. We're so smart. We hired the son of the guy who we knew lied to us. Like, George Bush Sr. didn't lie after 4 years. He lied during the whole campaign, and within the first 2 weeks, he upped taxes. After saying the whole campaign he wasn't going to up taxes. Barack said he was going to bring us change. We see how much change has happened. If anything, nothing. Black people still getting shot down in the street. Oh, we got to see it live. So maybe he did change that. We got to see it live. And still nothing happened. Nothing changed. George W. What did George W. lie about? Nothing. He was just a clear example of anybody could be president. This guy was like one of those guys that you listen to him talk and you were like sitting on your couch like, I'm smarter than this guy. That's what George W. was to me. Just a silly guy. A silly, funny guy. Said he was a party animal in college. I'm not hating on him for that. But man, oh man, what Halliburton, Dick Cheney, him, Rumsfeld did to those people in Iraq. Those people aren't ethical. They're not immoral. Or they're not moral. They're what Sir Anton was talking about. And let me make sure I get his name full. It's Sir John Dalberg Acton was talking about. Let me say his name one more time. Sir John Dalberg Acton was referring to when he said power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely, as well as great men are almost always bad. Great men are almost always bad. Which is why I'm working on my humility. Because, man, that's just true. So, I don't want you people to be fooled anymore in thinking that the presidency is a hard job. Your job is hard. You're working hard. The rich are not working hard. And let me prove it. Notice when someone gets rich, the first thing they say, I don't have to work. I don't have to work no more. I hit the lottery. I just sued somebody for big money. I don't have to work. Hopefully my mama, now my mama ain't got to work. No, my whole family ain't got to work. Because I'm rich. I've suddenly ran into, come into a windfall. A financial windfall. So I don't have to work anymore. What do you think all these rich people are thinking? They don't have to work. They do no work. They're pretending to you like they work. They do no work at all. It's all a front for you, hard worker. For you, the bottom steps, the top, the layer on top of that, the layer on top of that till you get up to the top of the pyramid. The financial system is a Ponzi scheme. You know, well, that's for a whole nother video. I just wanted to highlight on this one how the president really does no work. The president does very little work. It doesn't take much to be president. You don't have to be some intellectual genius. Really, the common thread I see amongst the presidents since I've been alive, and we're talking about from Reagan on up to Trump right now, they're all liars. They all share that one commonality. They're pathological liars. You have a good day.